Everything old is new again. America's entertainment pop culture talk show.
It may well possess a rudimentary intelligence.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Felt a great disturbance in the force.
Hello, I'm Mr. Red.
Come on, Mark, like a job for me.
Where's the goodies?
Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
I bet you wouldn't have done anything like this if Mom and Dad were here.
You filthy criminal.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Here are your hosts, Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Roller coaster. An accident in California.
That's 2 accidents in 1 week. Who's putting the lid on this? The police?
A recording from a stranger.
Get on the ride, Harry.
A drop in Virginia.
Harry.
Yeah.
Remember what happens when you don't follow directions.
And a man in the middle on the ride of his life.
They're over the lift. It's too late to stop them now.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's get going here. Everything old is new again here with you having some fun. That's the Earthquake trailer from 1977. Why did I play that? Well, we're here with David, with our own Jack Donovan Foley himself. He's gonna really recoil at that, but there he is. David Cohen.
No idea what that meant. Okay, sure.
Would you like me to explain who, before we dive into this, let me explain to you who Jack Donovan Foley was. Have you ever heard of the word Foley being used in entertainment field in any way, shape, or form?
Isn't Foley, that's like somebody on the crew, right?
Yes, it is. Good point. You're getting close. It's the sound effects guy. Or girl.
Foley guy. Yeah, right.
And they were named after this guy because...
Really?
He started working at Universal Studios. His name is Jack Donovan Foley.
I did not know that.
Yep, and he was the one that converted or was there when films went from silent to talkies. So he worked on The Jazz Singer, of course, the first film to have sound, and he parlayed that into making sound effects for movies till 1967. And
a long and storied career.
Here's the thing. If you think about it, the microphones were horrible back in the day. So the first movies, and we're talking about the first 10, 20 years, so 30s and 40s. I mean, when you had a person walking, like now they have a person walking, the microphones are so good, you're hearing the person that's on the screen walking. Right? Think about it. Back in the day, they had to have a separate person doing the walking off camera into a microphone.
Oh, to kind of sync up the sound with
Yeah, because they couldn't hear the sound. The sound was terrible. So Foley worked in radio first. Aha! Here we go. The importance of radio. And he did all the sound effects for all those dramas in the 10s and 20s, whatever, on the radio. Not 10s, but 20s and 30s. And parlayed that into the movies, which were brand new at the time. And he became the pioneer of doing this. And then now, of course, they didn't have to do walking anymore. The microphones got better, but the films got different. You know, guns for gangsters. How are you going to shoot those? Big scenes with, like, big armies from these, Roman, these huge, Cleopatra and all that stuff. You don't realize, and that's what we're going to talk about today, are sound effects and how they're made. Behind the scenes, the sounds that you're hearing, what's up? Because not everything, like the Raiders of the Lost Ark Boulder, for example. Do you really think that Boulder made that sound?
No, I don't think they actually rolled a boulder to pick up sound.
That boulder was probably paper mache, I'm going to guess. Something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how in the world did they make that sound?
Are we going to find out?
We're going to find all that out. Isn't that interesting?
This is good. This is interesting.
Okay, and it is fun.
For a change.
But what I played here, there in the beginning was, to me, sort of my experience, only personally, if you will, with sound effects and how it kind of made an impression upon me in the late 1970s. Do you remember them advertising Sensorround?
Yes, in the movies, yeah, that was a big thing.
So first they had regular movies and so forth, and then they had...
Earthquake was in Sensorround, right?
It sure was. Earthquake was
Earthquake in Sensorround.
We should have had that guy for the show. That would have been good. Maybe we'll have to do that next section, have you read off something, but because I love that sound. But that's our sound effect. But here's the thing. Earthquake was the first one to do it in 1974, but let's think about what it was. First, in the 50s, they were trying to advance this idea and, movies and do something different, and they didn't do sound effects, they did visual effects of 3D movies. And that was the craze in the 50s, as you remember. Well, you weren't there, neither was I, but if you look back, you can Google it. So that was, and it was a failure. It was a lot of, Creature from the Black Lagoon was 3D. There were a lot of 3D movies, and once in a while there was a 3D movie even in our era, and they've gotten to that.
Oh yeah, about 10 years ago or so, it was a big thing again, and then it just died out again.
Right, people just don't want to put the glasses on. I think is a big deal with it.
Right,
I don't mind because I wear glasses, but I totally get it. If you don't wear glasses, it's sort of like, what am I doing here? But I would say similar to that, something they said, well, let's try this. You don't have to wear any glasses or anything, but we can get the person that's watching this movie to be more involved in the movie. So they invented Sense-Around in this crazy movie called Earthquake, which, by the way, the screenplay was written by the same author that did the screenplay and the book for The Godfather, Mario Puzo.
Mario Puzo did Earthquake. Wow.
How amazing is that?
And that was during that whole run in the 70s of disaster movies were very big, right? Towering Inferno and Poseidon Adventure, Earthquake.
Exactly.
Airport. Airplane was the comedy. Airport was the disaster film, right?
And George Kennedy was in every single one of these with smoking a cigar as the engineer or something,
If you saw George Kennedy on the screen, you knew it was a disaster movie.
Exactly, and it was probably a disaster at the same time. So he wasn't that great in that. Though he was. How do you say? He was like an extra person in the movie that you kind of liked, but you certainly was no star. But he seemed to have like a lot of lines in every movie, and you were like,
he was a solid character actor.
Yes, yes,
he was good. I remember.
Yeah, he's the kind of a guy I would love to have interviewed. He died about 5 years ago. He would have had so much to say.
Darn.
Yeah. Anyways, he should have written a book too. The guy, but anyway, that's a different story. So we start with Earthquake. Then it went to, if you remember, Midway. And I remember going specifically to see the movie Midway because I wanted to hear this surround sound. And let's talk about what it was. And then, of course, it went to Roller Coaster.
Which Roller Coaster?
That was the movie that we just heard the promo for on the intro of the show here, 1977, the movie. It also had Sense-Around. What Sense-Around was, basically, was, they have the Dolby sound where it's, surround sound we have now, right? Even have it in your house now. They turned that up really loud, kind of, and made the vibration, the bass part of it, stronger so that your seat basically would move and vibrate and you would kind of be there.
That's how they achieved the vibration effect. They turned the bass way down?
Way up.
Way up, right.
Yes. And, so, so you'd watch this movie about an earthquake or about a roller coaster, and the screen and everything would stay still, but in your mind it was moving. You were there because you felt all these vibrations, which I think they're starting to do now again. Before the pandemic, we did a show and they were starting to do, like, you get wind in your face, you get sometimes you get some water spit at you, so to speak, from your seats, right? They started to do that. Right. I don't know if that's going to happen anymore or not. I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
Probably not. Yeah. I would say. Yeah. Anything that would transmit certain things through the air at a mass audience, probably not going to happen.
So, okay. But let's think about the answer to the question of Raiders of the Lost Ark. How, and we have lots of these. How did they do that sound? First, let's listen to the sound.
Of the boulder.
Yes. So there's the boulder. Now, what does it sound like? It's hard to tell, but that actually is, and it's it sounds like a big boulder. It's it's funny, a Honda Civic being rolled on, not pavement, but those rock kind of driveways?
Like gravel?
The gravel, right. Being rolled on gravel, not on, like the car's not on. They're just a couple of guys pushing. And you hear that's the tires of the Honda Civic, one of the sound people, rolling that on, what do you call that, gravel stuff.
Was there a specific reason why they used a Honda Civic, or was that just the guy's car?
It was just the guy's car. That's it. It was the guy's car. That's it. Like, you could make sound effects out of anything, and that did it. That was perfect. That was, I mean, have you ever questioned that? That no one said, "Oh my God, that doesn't sound like a boulder. What a crappy movie. What's going on here?" They don't know.
And we know certainly someone didn't say, that sounds just like a Honda Civic rolling over gravel.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's amazing. I have a bunch of them. Let's dive into them. I've got some from Terminator, E.T., Spider-Man, Exorcist, Godzilla. Let's hear some of these and see, because I think it's fun. They're actually interesting sounds behind the scenes, what they really are.
Cool.
We'll be back. Rid of this and everything old's new again. Here we go. There's our guy. All right? Raiders. Right back.
You're listening to Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Slaves you were, and slaves you remain. But the terrible penalty of crucifixion has been set aside on the single condition that you identify the body or the living person of the slave called Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus.
We're back here. Everything old is new again. I'm Spartacus. David Cohen. Did you ever see the movie Spartacus with who's in that? Tony Curtis.
I did. There are many Spartaci if you listen to that recording.
Exactly. And,
that was a great movie.
Kirk Douglas. Yeah,
great movie.
Amazing movie. Now, you know that there's a lot of those were back in the 60s. They had these huge extravaganzas where they had on screen, no computers, on screen. They needed to do like a scene of Spartacus's army against the Roman army fighting. It was
where you had like thousands of guys battling, and how do you do that?
Number one. Number two, they really didn't use metal, right? Swords and that kind of stuff. So how could you do the sound to make it sound like you've got an army that's wearing metal, right? All these soldiers were wearing back in those days. They wore these metal, chest plates and everything, and the swords, you'd fighting with a sword against the chest plate and whatever. How do you come up with that sound for thousands and thousands of people and make it work? Make it sound like it's actually happening. Let me play you the sound.
I have a feeling that you found the answer to this question.
I did, and it continues with Mr. Foley. This film was one of his last ones, not even last because it was 1960. He went for another 7 years. But in the middle of his career, I guess, on the the height, I guess, they call this genius. In the sound, this is such a obscure subset, right? But of all of those that are sound engineers, they call that guy a genius, and this is one of the reasons is because of this. Listen to this. What is the sound we're hearing of them walking? Anyway, I don't know if you could tell what that is, but that's basically was the army of Spartacus approaching the battle scene. And there's no computers. Remember, all of this, you could be spoiled now because you go on the computer and you get any sound you want, anywhere, anytime. He had to use again with the car, his car keys. And he kind of shook the car keys in a rhythmic way. And the metal of the car keys against the microphone or picked up by the microphone sounded like Spartacus's army.
So just a single set of keys he was jiggling, and that did the trick.
Yes. Now, I don't know how many keys it was. It was 10 or 5 or whatever, but...
Right. I thought it was going to be much more complex than that, but that's pretty impressive.
It's unbelievable. It's funny. Now, there are complex ones. Now, I'm going to play you one, and the explanation of it is going to be, how do we say, is going to be... underwhelming, but I've always wondered what this is.
I can't wait.
So I want to figure out what the heck this is.
Underwhelm me, Doug.
An underwhelming, if I have it here. Let me just look. I'm looking for the clip. I have it. It's the Wookiee sound from Star Wars, the Chewbacca.
Okay.
Let's just see what that's like first. We all know what that is. It's neither.
Yeah, I can't imagine how they came up with it, though. I really can't.
It's bizarre. It's what they did was this guy Burt, who is the successor to Foley
Burt?
in this, Burtt. I don't know his first name, so it's Mr. Burt. Ben Burt, that's what it is. Ben Burt did all the sound effects for all the Star Wars movies, and it's his own voice clipped together and blended, and then he played it 5 or 6 times. He overlapped it against each other, and like a split second off. So if I went like that sound, whatever, and I played that, and then a split second later, I played a copy of it, not even a split second. It's like,
so you kept layering one on top of the other with a little bit of a delay.
Exactly, and that's what that is.
Wow.
So
play that again? Can you play it again?
Absolutely. It's odd I don't even know how that could have been. He must have basically said that sound, and then you've got the echo of it. If you could hear the echo kind of thing. Right. It's not clear, it's definitely like, and I'm talking about, when I say seconds, not even right, like when you engineer the show and all you clip it, you have the technology to clip it down to the 100th or the 1000th of a second. So I'm sure he just delayed it like, 1/10 of a second.
You wonder like how they think of conceptually, like why would he think to do that? Why would that work? It was probably some accident, some recording he did where he accidentally overdubbed his voice and the timing was a little off, and he liked the sound it made. I'm sure that,
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's just the sort of thing you don't think of. Well, what if I just made that sound and recorded myself 100 times,
And an iconic sound that will never go away in movie history. Like anybody hears that 100 years from now, they're probably going to have seen that movie and heard that sound. And and it's unique. They'll know immediately what it is. So that's another genius there. But let's hear something from Terminator 2. Not the greatest movie on the planet. It wasn't bad.
T2.
T2, not remembered for so much. But if you remember, the Terminators were advancing over and stepping on the, skeletons, if you will, of human beings. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah, right.
And so how do you make that? And that was a memorable kind of sound. Yeah, the bone crush. Here it is.
Cereal? Chewing cereal? I'm going to guess.
Nope, but let's do it again. Really close up. Can you make it? Any idea? I mean, think of it. You're thinking of a skull, but now get your mind out of the idea that it's a skull and just what is
play it a couple more times.
Yeah, like what is this sound? What's it sound like?
It sounds like someone stepping on glass, crushing glass with the heel of their shoe.
Remember, now this is right up against the microphone, so it's a sound that you're not going to normally hear when you do this. But if you really listen, you know this. You definitely know this sound.
All right.
I don't know. When you're hungry at TV, you're watching, you want to have something like somewhat healthy, and you have
chewing. Is it chewing?
It's a nut. It's a nut. Opening a pistachio nut.
With your mouth, with your teeth?
Let's just hear how they did. No, not with your teeth. No, your hands. You just open it.
That's what that is?
Yeah.
Play that again.
You ready?
No, I never would have guessed opening a pistachio nut close to the mic.
And they
Do you have a pistachio nut with you?
I don't. I should get one. But they also have you can crunch. They also took 2 plates together and they crunched pistachio nuts. And it was. I remember playing you one, but you remember you took lots of steps, right? And so there's that crunch, and there's a different crunch, and there's a different crunch. So they opened pistachio nuts, they crushed pistachio nuts, and that was it.
Wow. We should try that. Next show, we'll do a callback to this show. We'll bring some pistachio nuts. Let's open them up.
Yeah, I could do that. I could definitely do that, but I'll never remember to do that. You'll have to send me a note.
No, I won't either.
Yeah, there's no way.
Okay.
But all right, how about E.T.? Like that's sort of a. I'll play the sound. It's kind of familiar here. E.T. walking.
2 times.
2 times. Okay.
Should I start?
I don't know if it's that. Just listen to the beginning part of it.
By shitting himself 2 times.
So it's sort of like that click
like
and then
step and a drag kind of thing?
That's E.T. And of course, if you're watching the movie, you don't even think about it. You don't even think twice. Like that's the sound, and
I
didn't recognize it. Right. So that is jelly, popcorn, and liver. Try to figure that out. They just the sliding sound is the liver going through jelly, and the popcorn is like a popcorn maker in the beginning. You hear that? Let me hear it play it again. There's popcorn.
Two times. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So
but why liver through jelly?
So, because they wanted it like an organic substance sliding on the floor. So
like, why not like a piece of, I don't know, chuck steak or something? Any reason why they chose liver?
I guess because no one likes liver, so maybe that's the reason why they can throw that food away after a while. Or maybe it actually does have something to do with hygiene in that maybe liver stays longer, not refrigerated. I honestly have no idea. But that is interesting.
But yeah.
So that's kind of cool, right? All
It is.
right, I'll play one more for this section. Let's see if I can find something. How about Spider-Man? If I can find it. Give me a minute here, and because I'm a little out of order. Okay, so Spider-Man. How about, here's Spider-Man. You know, what do you call that? The thwop sound, whatever you want to call it. The sound of...
with the web coming out of his web shooter?
Exactly. Here we go. Tell me if you can figure out what this is. All right, it's hard. It's hard to hear. Let's try it again. It's
like some sort of hydraulic sound.
Fishing line with a marshmallow at the end of it. And the marshmallow sticks to something like a wet marshmallow. How crazy is that?
So they're
casting
casting the fishing rod,
right.
And then they're capturing the marshmallow at the end of the fishing rod,
sticking to
splatting
something
against the wall.
Yeah. Who the heck would have thought of that?
Play it again.
I could kind of hear the marshmallow. No, at the end.
I was going to say I could hear the fishing rod. I can't make out.
Oh,
the
really?
Marshmallow.
The marshmallow is sort of the end part of it. Listen.
I know. Yeah.
That little tickly sound.
I guess I wouldn't think it was a marshmallow, but I guess I never heard a marshmallow hit against a wall from a fishing rod.
Well, I don't know what kind of house you grew up in with no marshmallows hitting walls, but okay.
Our house was a marshmallow-free zone.
It was
one of the strict rules.
All right. Well, we had marshmallows everywhere, and jelly and jam, and we never had those sounds. None of them really made it worthwhile for us. Anyway, we will come back on Everything Old is New again, and we're going to try some more themes, and maybe we'll have a visit or two. We'll see. We'll be back right after this. Everything Old is New again. Here he is. Here's our hero. He just walked in the door.
Now, back to America's entertainment pop culture talk show. Everything Old is New Again, with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Oh, you didn't tell me you were gonna kill it.
Welcome back to Everything Old is New Again. Douglas Viviani, David Cohen. We're talking about sound effects, TV, movie sound effects. That's a bit of Charlie Brown with the Great Pumpkin Patch episode there. David, most of what we heard there were sound effects for Charlie Brown, and I would venture to guess that a lot of them were so distinctive that they, unto themselves, you would know, without even the words that were said there, a few words, that was Charlie Brown, no?
Absolutely, yeah. You could just tell.
The footsteps, and of course, the music, but which is the sound effects too, right? And the ghosts and all that.
Yeah, you don't appreciate how much the sound effects add to what you're watching. It would be interesting just to watch that, to see it without any sound, and then again with all the effects added, you don't believe how much they're contributing to what you're seeing.
Yeah, it's incredible. It really is. I have it. Let's do this. I have a quiz. Very interesting, I think. I have a 1-minute clip from the Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
I like this.
And within this 1-minute clip, I'll give you a hint. Most of them are halfway through. But still, most of these sound effects, or all these sound effects, you will hear on the clip add up to, I find, 8 altogether.
Okay.
And what I'm looking for you to do is not tell me, because we talked about this before. We were talking about how sound effects were made. I'm not necessarily looking for that now. I want to hear you tell me what sounds you hear. So if you hear a door closing, just say, I heard a door closing, whatever it might be.
Okay.
I want to hear what
goes on. Did you just give one away, by the way?
No, I did not. Maybe a hint. So, because it's hard. This is a hard quiz, but I'm interested to see. And we may have to play it twice if we have to, but I want to see if you hear the sound effects and how much they really add, especially to this movie, but in general to movies and all that. So get a pen and piece of paper, pull over on the side of the road.
Yep.
Get that pencil or piece of paper out of the glove compartment. Here we go. It's another sound effects. I can hear all the car horns now as you do this, as they go by. And,
yes.
All right, so everyone's pulling over all over the country, side of the road, to do this quiz. All right, here we go. Is, again, 8 sound effects I'm looking for here. Let's hear it.
The moonlight shows us for what we really are. We are not among the living, and so neither are we dead. For too long I've been parched of thirst and unable to quench it. Too long I've been starving to death and haven't died. I feel nothing. Not the wind on my face, nor the spray of the sea, nor the warmth of a woman's flesh. You best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one. What are you looking at? Back to work.
There we go. That's a good quiz. How do you like that? You got some ideas, David Cohen?
I think so.
You think you have all 8?
I'm not sure I can get all 8, but I definitely heard some distinct sounds that were very familiar.
All right, here we go.
So right off the bat, definitely some breathing, right?
Breathing or wind, both together, yes.
Okay. I heard footsteps.
Yes.
That was pretty clear.
Yep.
I'm not going to say I could make out all of them, but I'll just tell you others that I definitely heard.
Okay.
You did give away the door closing. I heard that at the end.
Yep.
I heard glass breaking.
Okay.
I heard some sort of liquid dripping.
Yes. Okay. I'll tell that in a minute. Yep.
And a cork popping out of a bottle.
Yep.
That's not even 8, though, right?
That's 1 short of 8. 2 short of 8. That's
yeah.
6.
That's all I have. The others I couldn't really make out.
Okay. I'm going to go. Let's go through it. Let's hear it for a minute. I'll tell you as we go.
Got it.
All right. Here we go. So
the moonlight shows us for what we really are.
And there's the breathing.
We are not among the living.
Right. We know.
So neither are we dead.
Footsteps. Just heard that.
Thirst and unable to quench it. Too long I've been starving to death and haven't died. I feel nothing.
This is a tough one coming up.
Not the wind on my face, nor the spray of the sea, nor the warmth of a woman's flesh.
It is.
You best start believing in ghosts.
Human turning into a skeleton.
You're in one.
Right. Cork out of a bottle.
Here's the cork.
Drinking. Going through the ribs. Glass breaking. Door closing. And finally at the end, working on a ship, doing
what are you looking at?
Right here.
Back to work.
All right, the working on the ship, I should have played a little bit longer. That's kind of a cheat. But so even if you got 7 out of 8, you did very well. You got 6 there. You did well, David Cohen. I think that was
all right.
All right, so that's right from there. Pirates of the Caribbean. It's interesting. What is this?
Yeah,
somebody's knocking on the door. What? All right, you want to get that door, David? What the heck is this?
Yeah, sure. Uh-oh.
Douglas.
Captain Balzac, how are you? Good to see you. I knew we were going to mention pirates. I knew we'd have some problem here. And I was closing the door to somebody else coming. Of course, there's somebody else coming.
My partner's coming.
Well, partners in crime. Partners in crime.
Pumpkinhead, come on in here.
Yeah, Jack Pumpkinhead, Jack from, of course, The Wizard of Oz, and everybody knows where I'm from. I've been on the show a million times. We still need to introduce us. Not too many people know who you are. Can we help you, Captain? What are you doing here? What? I know, God forbid, we mentioned the word pirate. You've got to be included in the show. Is that what it's all about?
Aye, Douglas, yes. But it wasn't just that. It wasn't just the pirate that took us in here to interrupt your show. It was about the subject being sound effects. I happen to know that you and young David over here are full aware of the fact that we have our own sound production company now.
Well,
and that you're not even mentioning us on the air. It's ridiculous.
And by the way, you can't have us as guests on your show talking about any subject at all. You're down to the minutiae of movies. You're talking about sound effects, and you're making a whole show about sound effects. Are you kidding me? By the way, I'm putting it down, but I don't want to put it down because I'm an expert at sound effects. If you want a sound effect of somebody like at a ball game and they're chewing sunflower seeds and spitting them out, I'm your man. I'm the pumpkin man. There's lots of seeds in pumpkins. I can do that. If you want somebody...
Balzac Pumpkinhead Productions is a thing now, and we provide the sound effects. Any kind of sound effects you want, specializing in pirates and pumpkins.
Exactly. You want to have a knife go through a pumpkin, make it sound like you're stabbing somebody? I got all the pumpkins you need. I know exactly what to do. I got Captain Balzac over there. He can do all kinds of sound effects when it comes to the sea, when it comes to... Balzac, you could have done those, all those sound effects from the Pirates of the Caribbean, could you not?
Anything ocean and pirate related I can do. Pirates, you name it.
I mean, you could...
Peg legs.
There's no reason in the world why you can't slam a door and have that recorded.
Well, it's a little more to it than that. I mean, you have to have a good recording facility, and you have to.
We know how to record things.
Why, Doug? Why, Douglas? Of all the shows you've been doing, this is a perfect one to have us on, and you didn't even call us.
Yeah, I have to. David Cohen, I really have to be honest with you. I don't have a reason why we didn't call him on this. It's I do have a reason. It just came to me. It came to me because when we were planning this, it was during the middle of the pandemic, and everyone was isolated, and there was no visitations going on, and so forth. So we had to do this by Zoom, and I know that you fellas, you just don't have that technology, and just not with it when it comes to Zoom and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, Pumpkinhead, I told you they were going to blame the pandemic.
I don't understand. I'm a technological wizard. I appear from a whole nother dimension. I am appearing from the land of Oz, which everybody thought was a fictional land. It's a real land. I am over the rainbow. And so if I'm appearing from over the rainbow, and I appear in your... Why is no problem? Why do you think there'll be a problem connecting to the internet?
Well, it's the best we can do at this point. David, am I wrong?
Yeah, we're sorry, guys. Do you want to talk a little bit about it? Well, do we have time, Doug, for them to...
I have to say, we literally have 30 seconds left to the show here. So here we go. The show is yours for the last 30 seconds. Captain Balzac, Pumpkinhead, Jack Pumpkinhead from the Wizard of Oz. Tell us a little something about your business. Do you have a name?
I just told you the name, Doug, like 2 seconds ago. Balzac Pumpkinhead Productions. It comes right off the tongue.
You got an internet? You got any kind of like a website or an address people can contact you?
All the tech is Pumpkinhead.
Well, I don't know. What do you mean? What are you talking about? What is a website? What are you talking about? Website. I'm here. I'm not Spider-Man. I don't have anything to do with webs.
I thought you were the tech guy, Pumpkinhead. How do you not have a website?
So now I see why there's a little bit of a issue here. Okay, we'll try to catch up to date. There is a problem, but it's
a waste of time.
It always seems to come back and fall in our lap. We'll be back next week.
No respect.
Everything old is new again. No, we're not going to come back. We'll come back next section, and we'll try to pick this up. We'll be back.
Now, back to America's entertainment pop culture talk show. Everything old is new again, with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
The iconic scene from Psycho right here, and everything old is new again. with David Cohen, Douglas Viviani. We're talking about movies and sound effects. David Cohen, of course, that to me, I mean, that movie comes to life, and you hear that sound. I don't know. Did you know what that scene was first? No.
Was it the shower scene?
The shower scene, and the question is, do you have any idea what made that sound of the knife? Yeah, slashing into the skin. Any idea?
I read a story about it many years ago, but I don't remember. But yeah, tell me.
The sound man brought Alfred Hitchcock into a room because Hitchcock was very particular about sound. And by the way, when you look this subject up, The Birds comes up a lot because all those bird sounds are amazing if you remember that movie. And they're all over the movie and make the movie. But, I didn't play it here. But so he was very into the sounds. And this was before The Birds, but of course. But the sound man took some melons and he started using a knife and stabbing melons.
Stabbing the melons.
And,
that makes sense.
Yeah, and when they had, on the table, they had fruit everywhere from doing this, 20 times. The fruit's all over. Finally, Alfred Hitchcock turns to him and he says, "Genius." And that was it. They got it.
Really?
They used it.
Cool. High praise from
a genius himself, absolutely. How about The Exorcist? The scene where the head is turning. Cover your ears if you're not a fan of this, but let's listen to this and see what this is like.
Yeah.
Damien!
It's hard to hear. Here, try it again.
It's like that crunching sound.
Yeah, that's the head turning.
Yeah, what you would expect to hear if you twisted your head.
Yeah.
You broke your neck.
Exactly. Yeah. So what do you think that is? I'll play it again.
They actually broke someone's neck.
Someone actually was ambidextrous and turned their neck around? No, listen to it again.
Damien!
Crazy. What do you think?
That sounds like opening pistachios.
Very slowly. That was a leather wallet with credit cards in it and just moving it and playing with it. Let's hear it again.
Damien!
So you get your credit cards are in your wallet, and you just
the old kind where you could flip the cards. They were in individual plastic, but they were all bound together, so you could flip it like a booklet.
Almost like baseball cards when you were a kid. Remember?
Yeah.
Damien!
With the leather also kind of encompassing it, so it's like the sound is encapsulated there. Really interesting. Right. I also know, and I don't have a clip of it, I know that in The Exorcist they did a lot with subliminal seduction. I don't know if you remember that came out. There was a book came out in the 70s after this movie. And a lot of advertising, even there was a Columbo episode about sounds being used to affect you and or clips like they used to put into a movie. You'd be watching a movie and they would put a picture. I remember that we're talking about, it's not digital. We're talking about a movie that old school movies with the reel to reel, right? So they would edit into the movie where you're watching. Let's just say you're watching The Godfather opening scene, right? And he's got the cat on his lap and whatever. Right at the time when he's got the cat in his lap, for about 4 or 5 frames, maybe even 2 frames, they would put in a picture of a Coca-Cola, cup of Coca-Cola.
Oh, I remember that.
And then later on, they put a picture of popcorn. And supposedly, whether it's true or not, and there's been studies, and look at the book, Subliminal Seduction, 100 years ago, but I wonder if there's been an update. I haven't looked at it since then. But it got you to think about, wow, I'm thirsty here. Let me go get something.
Did that really work?
I think it did. Because it's been outlawed, I'll tell you that. So if it didn't work, why is it outlawed? They're not allowed to do it anymore.
Oh, and I didn't know that. I guess it was working.
If you used to look at, and I don't know if you could do it now, but look at old magazines. Like if you go to a yard sale, get yourself an old Sports Illustrated, right? And they had advertisements in there of liquor, which I can't do now. And they'd have a cup of like whiskey, let's say, with ice cubes. If you look at the ice cubes, I guess you'd have to have some imagination too. But if you look at the ice cubes, you'd always see like a naked girl in the ice cubes.
I remember that.
And now, I don't know if it worked. I don't know if it was legitimate. I don't know if it was on purpose. I don't know if it's our imagination. I don't know any of that. But that there's certainly a discussion about that in ice cubes and lots of stuff. Like a lot of print ad allegedly they were doing
So how did
subliminal
this?
seductions.
So they incorporated this somehow into sound effects. at
Yes.
some point?
So one thing people hate when you're at a barbecue, people hate what? What do you hate when you're at a barbecue? Like, it's just annoying you. It's like
the sound of other people eating.
All right, that's definitely one thing. But what about the flies that fly around you, or the bees that are flying around you? And that you hear the bzzz, right? It just bugs you, right? So they use that sound in the music. If I should have played it, because I should have taped it. I didn't. But if you hear the theme of The Exorcist, and when it gets rolling, if you think about it, you'll hear the sound of a bee flying around.
Really?
Because it really is, it's disturbing to you, is the bottom line, and that's what they wanted to do.
Interesting.
And or watch the movie, you'll hear that. In some of these scenes, you'll hear that, like more action-y kind of scenes, but, in sort of the Netherlands there, and then, like, you're not thinking about the sound, but there it is.
Right,
and it's bugging you, man. It's really bugging you.
Yeah, now they can do it electronically. They just, if you're watching a movie or a TV show, and they want disturbing music, they can mix some staticky, something that's not pleasant to the ear,
right,
in there, where they don't have to
record. Where it all came from. It's amazing. It's cool stuff.
Yeah.
How about? I don't think we're gonna get this. But I'm gonna play this because it's an oldie but goodie. Godzilla's Roar. Maybe we will get it. Listen to the last part of that. It's an instrument that they use. Now, what's a double bass? Do you know what a double bass is? I guess it's like, instead of 4 strings, 8 strings?
Yeah, it's also, right. And I think it's the old stand-up bass.
Okay, so you got an old stand-up bass with double strings, right? And it's being rubbed by a leather glove. Listen to this now. It doesn't make sense. Coated with pine tar resin. So I guess it makes it sticky, and it makes it, like, coarse. So you got a coarse glove, leather glove with pine tar, like you use, in a baseball bat, right? And rubbing that against the bass strings, and you get this sound.
Wow. What? How did they come up with that?
I mean, I'd have to see it. It's hard to really envision that. But, right, with that sound? Let me hear it again.
But just that combination of ingredients, too.
I guess I could hear, though, the kind of bad note, that 2 A's. The first one, the high note, then the lower note. Let's hear that again.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, I could hear the notes. And I hear that staticky stuff and whatever. I guess that's...
But, like, why a bass? Yeah, it's very interesting how they came up with that.
Unbelievable. And there's still... We did a show on Tarzan. There's still, and this is going to be underwhelming at best, and I apologize, but I have to bring it up. We first have this. Now, we've done this, a show on this. We did a Godzilla show. Go back and you'll hear our Godzilla show. But we wanted to figure out what that sound was, and we couldn't find it. In my research, this came up again. And the official line from MGM in 1939 was that it was Johnny Weissmuller's voice. It's not. They also say that it's a hyena howl played backwards, or a note sung by a soprano being played back at various speeds, or they say it's a dog's growl, or they say it's a G string of a violin, all of which, what would you say, is still part of the mystery. There's an opera singer called Lloyd Thomas Leach from the day, and he said he performed it and was paid thousands of dollars for it to be used over and over again, and he has checks from MGM showing that. So he's claiming that's what it is. And, of course, Weissmuller says it was himself. And later on in Weissmuller's career, he did go on The Tonight Show and some other shows, allegedly, and did it. He practiced it so much that he came fairly close to that sound, but never exactly that sound. So clearly it's made by something. But yeah, we'll never know. I mean, think about the idea that one sound has gotten so much publicity and so many guesses as to what in the world it is. It's crazy.
Carol Burnett did a good impersonation of that too.
She did.
Remember?
She did. She was great at it. I don't know how. Listen, we've been trying. We may get her on the show one day. I keep knocking wood when I say it. They keep on saying yes to us, and they keep on saying when she has the next thing to promote, she'll come on the show. And I haven't seen anything she's been promoting, so whatever. We've been trying.
Yeah.
But I mean, wouldn't that be something? But anyway, yes,
time's running out.
It's not for us, but well, for all of us. Time is running out for all of us. Let's just go that way with it.
That's true.
So, including our show, because we have 10 seconds left. David Cohen, did you enjoy visiting and hearing about all kind of business related to, sound effects in the movies?
Yes, I did.
Beautiful. Enjoy. We'll see you next week.
Did we fit that into 10 seconds?
You sure did. We'll be back. After this, everything old is new again. We'll be back after this week. Come back next week.
Hi, I'm John Billingsley, and I help run the Hollywood Food Coalition. We serve a hot, nutritious 5-course meal to hungry men, women, and children 7 nights a week, 365 days a year. We distribute clothing, shoes, blankets, backpacks, you name it. We help people access a huge array of other services from partner groups. Please join us by making a donation to the Hollywood Food Coalition through our website, hofoco.org, HOFOCO.org. $3 buys a hungry person a great 5-course meal.
You've been listening to Everything Old is New Again, America's pop culture entertainment talk show. Find us on the web at everythingoldisnewagain.biz. That's .biz.
See you next week. Same bat time, same bat station.